So if a student came in asking about a multimodal project, I think about doing an essay and whatnot, I think I would be able to help them in the sense that give them ideas of how they can go about that, remediating that either in on a website or a magazine and those projects such as that.
Proficiency in film editing. I don't have too much experience with it. I use iMovie quite a bit, but Adobe Premiere I'm actually learning at the moment. We had a workshop on that recently, so I'm still learning that.
I have a Canon video camera, a camcorder that I tend to use. I mostly use it in relation to projects, but I do use it for some personal things as well, yeah.
I have not used a video camera extensively. If a GoPro counts, I have used that and just my iPhone.
I think I can help with the basics in the sense of giving them a starting point and then helping them along the way, as well as teaching them different techniques as far as how to find information to help them progress further in their video editing.
I would be kind of concerned about what exactly are they trying to communicate and what are the ways in which they're trying to do so. So for example, if it's a website, I'm going, as an RWC tutor, I'm going to have a little more insight on maybe kind of the wording that they use, the placement, and different ways that they can represent these things for their readers.
I always make sure to start with the assignment the student's working on, so I have them pull up the assignment sheet, the syllabus, the requirements to make sure we're on the same page. But one student in particular went to the digital studio. He had a PowerPoint and he was working on it, and he wanted to check the formatting, just making sure it's aesthetically pleasing, and went to the digital studio, and then 2 minutes later walked over to the Reading and Writing Center, and I helped him with strictly the words.
Well, here we're editing papers and we're helping them go through the brainstorming process. I think we much of the same in the sense of if they're at the very beginning of the project, I'm going to help them brainstorm of how to go about editing it or what they can come about thinking of ideas of what mode they want to put it in, and then working along after we have that established when they're actually like for example putting a essay in a blog format. I would help them the same process of editing it as well.
So sometimes I work with the students using YouTube tutorials, so that way I could actually watch someone do exactly what they need to do, and it's super helpful.
There's a lot of space to transfer knowledge from one place to the next, because at the end of the day, all of us are interested, or we're driven by this communicative ability. Are we communicating properly? Is whatever we're creating coming across very clearly to whatever type of audience we have? And so all of that information is going to be useful both in the RWC and the digital studio.
I have seen a shift in that kind of creative flow. A lot of students have discovered Wix and Weebly website builders, so they've done projects with that instead of just creating like a Microsoft Word document or a PowerPoint.
There's a skill set that's a little more necessary in the digital studio, or at least kind of this willingness to engage in these different platforms that we don't necessarily have to have in the RWC. I think it's useful, but I know in the RWC we're more so focused on, okay, what words are you using and like how are we communicating those things, versus in the digital studio it's like, okay, how are we representing these things across various platforms in different genres.
I expect to see more people coming in for things that aren't school related. So a lot of people come in with help editing a movie or a video after they were traveling, or a mixtape, something they were working on musically, or even building a website for a job they have.
In terms of video, kind of a similar thing. Are there captions that they need to introduce into their video? Are there things that maybe they need to explain more that maybe their readers, their viewers may not know offhand? So I would kind of approach it like a paper. When I think about papers, I'm thinking about what exactly are you trying to communicate to your readers? What type of audience do you have, and is this being done effectively? I would just essentially transfer that information over to the mode of representation that they're having.
I think tutors still need to know certain aspects of tutoring that the digital studio tutors know. Students might come in for a question about building a website, but they're looking specifically for formatting, like grammar and syntax and sentence flow. So having that knowledge about the digital studio is also helpful for Reading Writing Center tutors.
Of course, it's a case-by-case basis with students, but I do think in terms of synthesizing these spaces, it would be interesting to me to kind of utilize both spaces to see how we can engage students in taking their work a step further, right? So the research that you do, taking that a step further by representing it across genres, or how might you utilize this later, like outside of the classroom, if you wanted to continue to develop those skills.
Because I think coming in here, a lot of people are starting to have those type of assignments in their classes, and I think becoming more like digital platforms is becoming more of a thing. So I think that to some degree that will have to be some competency in that in the writing center. That is, I feel like, because students are having to deal with that, but I think tutors that are also teachers, they're also teaching these same platforms, so I think they have a understanding of the basics of it.